How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? I'm DJ Storms, and welcome back to the Lightning Flash update here on YouTube.com. As of course you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. This is the Lightning Flash update for June 29th, 2018, as we head into July. I'm going to be a bit more dialed down today. Work has me tied up with multiple 6 to 7 hour shifts over the course of the next 4 days. So, you know, I'm going to be working a lot. I'm going to be getting a big paycheck for the next 2 to 3 weeks. So it's a downside and a positive. It's kind of bittersweet. You know, you get more money, but you're working a lot more and it's taken away from your weekend. What are you going to do? But we're going to start off the Lightning Flash update as per usual with the weekly show reviews. I don't really have too much news, so when we get to the news, rumors, and reports, I'm basically just going to skim through that. I'm going to take more time on the weekly show reviews. So Raw started off with Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin, and, you know, Raw, again, didn't offer anything. Roman interrupted, and he wanted to hear what Angle had to say, and then Bobby Lashley came out. And listen, I don't like either Roman nor Bobby Lashley based on the way that they've been presented on Monday Night Raw television. But Bobby actually spoke the truth here. I'd much rather see Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar than Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. At least Bobby Lashley would actually be something fresh. At least Bobby Lashley would be something new. At least Bobby Lashley wouldn't be something as cringe and as unbearable as Roman Reigns. And Bobby spoke the truth. You've already had your opportunities, and, you know, everybody's sick of you. The fans are sick of you. Brock Lesnar's sick of you, and maybe he'd come back if he had a legit challenger. Bobby Lashley spoke the truth. And Roman Reigns, he tried to act all tough by stating his own accolades and saying, Bobby Lashley main evented WrestleMania. When did Bobby Lashley main event WrestleMania? I'm pretty sure, like, I could look back on all the main events of WrestleMania, at least that I remember. And Bobby Lashley didn't main event one of them. Even in 2007, main event of WrestleMania was John Cena versus Shawn Michaels. When did Bobby Lashley main event WrestleMania? That was number one. Number two was the fact that he went to MMA, and how did that work out for him? Well, considering that his record was 15-2, that actually worked out pretty well for him. He was kicking people's asses for a living. 15-2. It's a hell of a lot better than your record this year in WWE, Roman. Tried to act all tough when in reality, Roman Reigns has been handed everything. He was handed 4 main events at WrestleMania, handed a Royal Rumble win, handed 3 world title wins when he didn't deserve them. But anyway, Kurt Angle then stated that Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman called off the match, basically because Brock Lesnar had some contract negotiations. I do have some news on that as well. The Revival interrupted, and then the Revival then defeated Lashley and Reigns, a repeat of last week, and I didn't even watch it. I just looked up the highlights for last week. But the Revival defeated Lashley and Reigns. Is this really going to go anywhere for the Revival? I hope it results in a tag team title opportunity against the Deleters of Worlds in the future, but I doubt it. The Deleters of Worlds, speaking of them, they continue to cut very entertaining promos, and the match against the B-Team for the tag titles will take place at Extreme Rules. Out of nowhere, Axel then stole a win over Matt Hardy. That was that. Authors of Pain defeated some jobbers, and then Titus Worldwide actually saved the jobbers. So I'm guessing that the Authors of Pain are going to face off against Titus Worldwide as their first major program, probably at Extreme Rules pre-show. Alexa Bliss had a segment, and you know, her promo skills have gone downhill. I'm sorry. Her promo skills were good at the beginning, but now they're just cringe. Her promo skills are just lackluster. Her promo skills are annoying. She's treading Carmella levels of promo skills. She's treading Carmella levels. Why are Mickie James and Alexa Bliss still friends? Why? They've been friends since the Elimination Chamber, and WWE hasn't even given us a reason as to why they are all of a sudden friends when they were facing off for the Raw Women's Championship back in October. So Natalya interrupts, and the only reason that Natalya's really getting an ovation is because of the mention of Ronda Rousey. It's not because Alexa Bliss is a good heel. Alexa Bliss is treading go-away heel heat. And then Alexa Bliss wants to make a joke about how Natalya is taking pictures with her Total Divas castmate. Weren't you part of Total Divas not that long ago? You were on Total Divas. So you're basically making a joke about yourself. Completely asinine is Alexa Bliss. Completely asinine. This resulted in Nia Jax aiding Natalya. Natalya defeated Bliss. It's not really going to go anywhere. And then we got a 6-woman tag. A 6-woman tag team match. The Riot Squad defeated Ember Moon, Bayley, and Sasha Banks. You have Ember Moon, one of the most talented, if not the most talented competitor that they have on Monday Night Raw for the women's division, and you're delegating her to a 6-woman tag team match when she could have won the Money in the Bank briefcase, and you could have given the title to her, set up for Ember Moon versus a heel Sasha Banks, and then you could have set up for Ember Moon versus Ronda Rousey at the Royal Rumble for next year. What was so hard about giving the briefcase to Ember Moon? And then Bayley attacked, and then she's sent to counseling. She's sent to counseling when Braun Strowman flipped over a car, but Kurt Angle let that slide. Mojo Rawley versus No Way Jose never happened. And by the way, he was picking on a guy in a hamburger suit. Todd was more over than Roman Reigns. It didn't need to be said, but I just thought I'd point that out. Strowman and Owens then defeated Balor and Corbin. They basically just flip-flopped the teams. Strowman then flipped over Owens' car. And then we had the main event. The main event was actually the best part of the show. Ziggler versus Rollins was morphing into a tremendous match. As a matter of fact, it was a tremendous match. And out of nowhere, McIntyre then interrupted. Roman then came out to save Rollins. And so they still have this Roman Reigns feeding off of Seth Rollins' popularity bullshit. As a matter of fact, there's actually been some news going around that at the next draft, Seth Rollins may be moving over to SmackDown because they want to make the focus of Raw Roman. They did it with Samoa Joe, now they're going to do it with Seth Rollins. They're trying to move all the star power off of Monday Night Raw to focus on the failure that is Roman Reigns. What else is new? Outside of the main event, Raw was terrible. SmackDown, on the other hand, was actually a decent show. SmackDown, on the other hand, actually had some moments. MITB was hosted by The Miz with the guest, the SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions, the Bludgeon Brothers. Miz obviously doing what he does best, trying to stir the pot. Bryan then came out, and Bryan challenged one of the Bludgeon Brothers, and Harper accepted it. So that actually was a good match, and I'm going to talk about that later on. We actually got some good wrestling on the show in a match with Rusev and Xavier Woods. Rusev defeated Xavier Woods in a good match. And out of nowhere, we had a promo by Rusev basically stating how Styles wants to disrespect Aiden English, but at Extreme Rules, he's going to take the WWE title from him. Then we actually had a U.S. Open challenge because Nakamura was bitten by a police dog. And the Bakersfield Police Department, I believe that's where the event was. The Bakersfield Police Department actually sent out a statement on the issue with Nakamura and that police dog. So hopefully Nakamura recovers sooner rather than later. But we had a U.S. Open challenge, and I was actually surprised that Eric Young answered the challenge. I really thought it was either going to be Ty Dillinger or Shelton Benjamin. But Eric Young answered the U.S. Open challenge, and it was actually turning out pretty good. It was turning out pretty good But then out of nowhere, the Usos interrupted, and they started a brawl with Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane on the outside. Eric Young then got into it, and it was just mayhem. It was chaos, as Sanity loves it. The Jeff Hardy and the Usos then defeated Sanity in a 6-man tag. It was a good match, and I get why a lot of people are mad that Sanity lost. I'm really not too mad about that, because this is just the beginning of a feud with the Usos. So I don't care if Sanity loses now, as long as they win the feud, because ultimately I want them to face off against the Bludgeon Brothers at SummerSlam for the tag team titles. We actually had another decent match with Becky Lynch and Sonya Deville. Becky Lynch actually won, so hopefully that they are setting up Becky Lynch versus either Asuka or Carmella. I hope it's going to be Asuka. I cannot stand Carmella. I hope it's going to be Becky Lynch and Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title at SummerSlam. That should be good. Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega then cut a promo. Hopefully this match with Sin Cara will take place sooner rather than later. Ellsworth then called out Asuka, because, he's got a, at this rate, he's got more of a chin than he does a brain. Or at least that's how they're presenting him on television. He's got no chin, he's got no brain. But Paige came out, and then, Ellsworth trying to be sly. Oh, one more thing about Ellsworth. I don't know what was up with Ellsworth, but out of nowhere, he just took his shirt off. And all of a sudden, it was like he spray tanned Central. He looked like a carrot. But this resulted in Paige making Ellsworth versus Asuka next week. So obviously that's going to be a decimation of Ellsworth. And then at Extreme Rules, it's going to be Carmella versus Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title. Hopefully that is when Asuka does it. Daniel Bryan versus Luke Harper was turning into a good match. But out of nowhere, Eric Rowan attacked, and they just started to beat down Daniel Bryan, and then Kane made the save. Team Hell No is back together. They were hugging it out. The crowd was doing yes chants, and Paige made the Bludgeon Brothers versus Team Hell No at Extreme Rules. Now, I know that some people are a bit nervous, and, I am a little nervous too. But take a look at how everything is lined up. Kane is running for mayor of Tennessee. He actually won the nomination, so he's going to be busy with that. Now, what's going on with this match at Extreme Rules? Think about this for a minute. There's one man lurking in the shadows, and that's The Miz. I actually think, and this could very well happen, I actually think that The Miz is going to cost Team Hell No the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles. Kane is going to eat the pinfall. He's going to get taken off of TV. He's going to run for mayor. And we're ultimately going to end up getting Daniel Bryan versus The Miz at SummerSlam, which I really have no problem with. As long as the Bludgeon Brothers do not lose, and as long as we get the Bludgeon Brothers versus Sanity at SummerSlam, I'd be fine. But overall, SmackDown was a decent show. Much better than Monday Night Raw. 205 Live. 205 Live is back to its hot streak. A very newsworthy episode of 205 Live. We had Akira Tozawa versus Tony Nese. This was a very good match, very competitive. I love the competitive nature of 205 Live. Akira Tozawa and Tony Nese, they went back and forth. Tony Nese again is very, very, very underrated. So if they want to give Tony Nese a cruiserweight title opportunity down the line, I would actually love to see that. I think he's earned it. But Tozawa ended up winning in a good match to start the show. Cedric Alexander then was in the back, and he wanted Hideo Itami as his next challenger. So, yeah, they are setting up Hideo to be Cedric Alexander's next challenger. They actually had another altercation with Cedric and Hideo in the back as well. So, the tension is there. All you need to do is make that match official. Lio Rush, he came to collect. The man of the hour, the 23-year-old piece of gold, as he calls himself, is on 205 Live. He defeated a resident jobber, and he said that it's only a matter of time before 205 Live feels the rush. Then, in the main event, we actually got Drew Gulak, Brian Kendrick, and Jack Gallagher defeating the Lucha House Party in a 6-man elimination tag team match. This was a very good match. It really asserted the Lucha House Party as fighting baby faces. It positioned Drew Gulak as a dominant heel. And I think Drew Gulak might be next in line after Hideo Itami for a Cruiserweight title opportunity. Maybe even before Mustafa Ali. Maybe they might give the championship to Drew Gulak. They could give the title to Drew Gulak, and then they could very well set up for Drew Gulak versus Mustafa Ali down the line, and that is when Mustafa is going to win the Cruiserweight Championship. Because we all know how great the feud with Mustafa Ali and Drew Gulak has been. And the great matches that they have put on in the past, so I really wouldn't mind that. Speaking of Mustafa Ali, next week, the final match, the rubber match between Buddy Murphy and Mustafa Ali will take place, and it is going to be a no DQ match. So strap yourself in, because the 205 Live main event next week is going to be damn good. And if it was up to me, I would give it to Mustafa. Get some momentum on Mustafa's side, so that way we can get Mustafa versus Cedric down the line. Or maybe even Mustafa versus Gulak. But great episode of 205 Live. Can't wait to watch next week. NXT. Very interesting episode of NXT, nonetheless. Black, the NXT champion, Aleister Black, kicked off the show. And before he could really even get 2 sentences out, Ciampa interrupted. And Ciampa said, you stood face to face with adversity. Now it's time you stand face to face with the devil. Tommaso Ciampa, man. He was giving me goosebumps with his promo, to be quite honest with you. And he was going on about how he beat Johnny Gargano in the main event, kind of belittling Aleister Black. And in the end, Ciampa sat down on the stage just like Aleister Black and waved goodbye, just like he did the Gargano. And he vowed to take the title off of Black, so we could very well be getting Ciampa versus Aleister Black in Brooklyn, which I'll be going to. So, even though we're not getting Gargano in Black, though I pitched it, even though we're not getting Gargano in Black, we're going to be getting Black and Ciampa. That's the next best thing. So, I'm hyped for it. Then we had the finest, Kona Reeves. And, I love Kona Reeves. He's my guilty pleasure for NXT. I love the cocky, conceited heel. I love the fact that he's just coming out with that jacket and just, with the chains and everything. He's just got a great attitude. I love Kona Reeves. He defeated a jobber. Hopefully he gets his first major feud very soon, because I want to see what Kona Reeves can do. Then we had a match between Candice LeRae and Lacey Evans. This was actually a pretty good match. Candice LeRae, she is building some momentum, and I believe there was a report going around that it's going to be a triple threat match in the future episodes of NXT between Candice LeRae, Lacey Evans, and Nikki Cross. Candice LeRae, Nikki Cross, and Kairi Sane, And the winner of that match will face Shayna Baszler at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. So, Candice LeRae, I think she's going to be gaining momentum to that opportunity. Candice LeRae won with a beautiful lion salt. It would make Chris Jericho proud. We had a promo with Heavy Machinery, basically stating how they want the Mighty. They want Shane Thorne and Nick Miller next week, or at some point. They're having a barbecue outside as well. So obviously Heavy Machinery not playing games anymore. They want the Mighty, and they want to get their revenge on the Mighty. I think Heavy Machinery might factor into the tag team title scene. So then we had a promo with Johnny Gargano. And Johnny Gargano basically went on saying that, this is not over. This will not end until Tommaso Ciampa ends. And in the end, we actually had a tweet from William Regal stating how, Johnny, you need to move on. So next week, you're facing EC3. This should be a very good match. EC3 and Johnny Gargano, that could easily be a takeover match. So, very interested to see how that plays out. Mustache Mountain, the new NXT Tag Team Champions, were supposed to face a couple of jobbers, but out of nowhere, the Undisputed Era attacked, and the Undisputed Era just beat down these jobbers, threw them off the stage. They hit them with knees, they hit them with backbreakers, and they had a confrontation, and they looked like they were about to attack Mustache Mountain until the one and only Ricochet came out. Ricochet came out to aid Mustache Mountain. This resulted in a 6-man tag match in which the Undisputed Era got the win over Ricochet and Mustache Mountain in a great 6-man tag. So, I'm assuming that Mustache Mountain will be getting another match with the Undisputed Era, and they're going to defend their tag team championships also. PW Insider reported not too long ago that Adam Cole versus Ricochet for the North American Championship could very well be the plan for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, and I think this might very well be the start of it. So Ricochet versus Adam Cole, you know, that's a great match to play second fiddle to the NXT Championship match. You got Black and Ciampa possibly, and Cole and Ricochet. It's already shaping up to be a must-see takeover. Very interesting episode of NXT. Very much looking forward to seeing Gargano versus EC3 next week. Now, on to the news, rumors, and reports. So, first things first. According to WrestleVotes, everyone's wondering about this whole Brock Lesnar deal. According to WrestleVotes, everything WWE is doing with Brock Lesnar is storyline, and he will compete at SummerSlam. And supposedly, Vince McMahon did not want the multi-man match, so he just canceled it. But let me tell you something. If he books Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules, Roman Reigns is yet again going to have another contender for worst match of the year. I was about to say of the decade, but that one belongs to Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal. But if we're going to get Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley at Extreme Rules, and then we're going to get Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar again, that's 2 more candidates for worst match of the year. Roman Reigns, man, he is not doing well. He is not doing well at all. He has been the biggest loser of 2018. With all of these candidates for worst match of the year and these failed attempts to get him cheered, it's time to move on. It's time to move on. Will they? No. They're not going to move on. Because they don't have a brain. But moving on. My next report comes from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and he reported that The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, have not been on TV because WWE Creative simply just doesn't have anything for them. So hopefully they'll get back into the swing of things sooner rather than later. And my final report is actually a pretty big report concerning Hell in a Cell. San Antonio, Texas is, of course, the host for Hell in a Cell. And the AT&T Center just started advertising 2 matches for the event. One of them is Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. And the other one is AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe for the WWE Championship. Could very well be inside Hell in a Cell. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. Do not forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the DJ Storms. Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe. Do not forget to check out the rundown for Money in the Bank with Dr. Huge if you missed it. Do not forget to check out the rundown for Extreme Rules, which I will be posting on July 14th. Do not forget to check out the Lightning Flash update next week. And that's it. I'm DJ Storms. You have a great weekend.